Hi everyone, my name is Rocco Michike, and I'm back to teach you how to think with depth and gain perspective. In my last episode, I said I was going to share a story to prove the power of your mind in the law of attraction. I happened to share the story a few months ago with my friends. I titled it, The Power of Anger. The opening sentence actually said I could have titled this, The Power of Thinking. I should have. Anger was simply the spark. Passion was the fire. Now that I think about it, disregard everything I said about anger. I was completely wrong. When you get angry, get over it and become passionate about doing what's right. So here's the story. My friend Mike and I play in the Summer Golf League. And in 2007, we won the championship. Now our names ended up making it on our website, but our pictures never did, as was the case for previous winners. So in February of last year, when our names came off, it wiped out any evidence that we had ever won the championship. So Mike and I got to talking, and we got angry. But we got over it and became passionate about winning the championship again. We wanted to prove our worth. So every time we had the opportunity, we talked about our goal of winning the championship. Now some things had changed. The previous year, the top 16 teams made it in the playoffs. Mike and I were actually in 16th place. Not because we were bad, but because it is, after all, a summertime league, and there were times we couldn't make it. So I knew things had to change this year. The previous year, quite frankly, the substitute list was horrible. I couldn't find anybody to sub for us. So I decided to take action, because in order to win again, we had to make the playoffs. So I asked my friends Paul and Tony if they'd be willing to sub, and they gladly did. And they helped when we needed to and subbed for us. Now the year went on, and Mike and I were in 2nd to 5th place pretty consistently. The first place team ran away with first place during the year. And as the year progressed and we got closer to the playoffs, something funny would happen as we got closer. Well, not quite so funny. I would break my foot. Now recently, my friend Paul and I were watching the video, The Secret. And Paul was asking me, okay, Mr. Positive, how does your foot, your broken foot, play a role in positive thinking? It was a great question. I told him that earlier on in the year, I was thinking to myself, when would that day happen that some big injury would occur that would knock me out of golf completely? The previous year, I'd had 2 cortisone shots in this shoulder, still played, but I was thinking at the ripe age of 41, only time would tell before something would happen. It was in my mind, so unfortunately, or fortunately, I did end up breaking my foot. Of course, the story doesn't end there. I wouldn't be having this story if it stopped there. That fateful weekend would occur. That weekend when I was supposed to be going away with the guys on our annual golf weekend. I was getting stir crazy. Mother Nature was incredibly wonderful that weekend, or actually, in my mind, ticking me off. It was beautiful. Mid-70s, not a cloud in the sky, and more importantly, no humidity. So I was sitting here on Saturday just getting stir crazy, and I decided I needed to release my energy, so I went outside and I decided to hit a couple of golf balls. During that time period, I realized I could actually still hit the ball. So I got even more excited. So I ran up the stairs. All right, I hobbled up the stairs. After all, I realized my foot was broken. I called my friend Mike and asked him, can you play golf? I told him what was going on. He said no, and he said, Rocco, relax. Don't ruin our chances of accomplishing our goal. I understood. I called Paul and asked him, do you play golf? He couldn't play either. Didn't matter. I was going to go play golf. So as I was getting ready and I started to leave the neighborhood, I started thinking to myself once again, what are you doing, Rocco? You idiot. You can't play the game of golf just because you simply hit a couple of golf balls. It's just not going to happen. That's not the way golf is. There's sand traps, there's uneven terrain, and everything else. You can't do it. So I convinced myself to turn around. As I was getting to that left-hand turn to turn around, a motorcycle caravan was coming the other way. I couldn't turn in. I was thinking to myself, damn bikers. So I was going to go to the next left-hand turn. As I got to that left-hand turn, the motorcycle caravan was still coming, and it was endless. I could not see where it was going to end. So I took that right-hand turn. That right-hand turn that I was originally going to take to play golf. And I thought to myself, somebody must be saying something to me. Since I'm on that road, I might as well continue on that road and go play golf. And I'm glad I did, because I realized I could still play the game. The next day I played with Paul, and he went on to tell me, had he not seen it for himself, he would have never believed it. I then played golf with Mike on Monday. He knew I could play the game just in time for the playoffs to start that Thursday. It was incredible walking up to that clubhouse with this boot on, knowing that I was going to play golf and knowing that I was going to help accomplish our goal of winning that championship, because in February, as I had said earlier, Mike and I were determined and thinking about winning the championship. It was in our minds. So we played the first round and we won. The next week came along, boot cast still on, we won again. We made it to that championship round as we had set our goals to and accomplished to getting there. Of course, it certainly wasn't over at that point, because we had to win that championship. And the previous week I had thought to myself, this is the kind of round that I have to play, and put in my mind how well I had to play. And ironically, we both played that well. And of course, I wouldn't be telling you this story if we didn't win the championship. And as I look back, I realize I could have never accomplished my goals if it wasn't for the help that I got from my friends. And as I look back now, I have no doubt why we won. It was in our minds for several months that we were going to win. This wasn't a simple coincidence, it was a law of attraction. Think of the law of attraction as you would the law of gravity. Whether you're good or bad, if you jump off of a building, you will fall to the ground. Whether you choose to think positively or negatively, you will attract what you think. You see, I believe life is simple. We all have two choices to make each and every day. Just two. We can choose to be happy, or we can choose to be unhappy. I believe the problem with our country will never be found in the bottom line. The solution to our problems can only be found in people. Honestly, our problem is our lack of content and character. When you think, I don't have the time, I'm too busy, or it's not my responsibility, then you will believe you don't have the time, you're too busy, and it's not your responsibility. Consequently, you will act upon those thoughts. Wake up, America. Choose to think positively, think differently, and think without boundaries. Tell yourself you do have the time, you are not too busy, and it is your responsibility. When you do that, you will learn how to think with depth and gain perspective. Ultimately, you will act upon your thoughts and will begin to believe you have the time, that you are not too busy, and it is your responsibility. Wake up, America. Real change is just a thought away. Think positively, think differently, and think without boundaries. Embrace the principles of leadership. They will help you to think and will help to continue teaching you how. Trust me, I will only share uplifting, inspirational, and positive stories with you. I believe in the soul of this country, and I believe there is a lot of good to be shared. The website's right there. Take a look up, folks. What are you waiting for? I'm asking you to choose to be a part of this movement. But you must first understand and apply the principles of leadership to your everyday life. I've witnessed it work in my personal life and in the lives of other people around me. The principles of leadership will help you to choose to be happy. Stand up, America. What are you waiting for? Stand by my side and get on the bus. Our movement has already begun. Tell everyone that you know of a leader that wants to make a difference and has real solutions to our problems. Oh, and one final thing. Today's a special day for me. 16 years ago today, I had my first date with my wife, and I am grateful for that day. What are you grateful for today? Think, America. Thank you, and I'll see you all again next month.